Hey guys, it's your boy 14 Fluffies here. Today I'm bringing you another YGOPro deck profile. This time I'm actually bringing you one of kind of my more favorite decks right now, Burning Abyss. Kind of weird considering how before this November format I actually didn't like Burning Abyss all that much, and you know, now that Seer and Graf got hit, I'm actually finding myself liking this deck a lot for some reason. Especially with Beatrice coming out, I really like Burning Abyss now. But yeah, this is my build. Let's do the deck profile. Starting off, we got our main 6 BA. We got our triple Skarm, our double Seer, and our 1 Graf. Obviously, these are our best discard fodder for our discard traps. It's our best discard outlets for things like Good and Evil and for Twin Twisters. And yeah, they're just the best cards you want to get into the graveyard, really. I mean, Skarm lets you search during the end phase and for stuff like Tour Guide. Seer is what gets your stuff from graveyard, so obviously Seer Dante loops and stuff like that, and Graf just, you know, is Graf, gets stuff from deck. Next up for the 2 of BAs, we have the 2 Kog'Na. Kog'Na, of course, helps you turbo your Good and Evil into the graveyard, and occasionally you can get your Travelers or Fire Lakes into the graveyard, so you can get them back with Dante, but yeah. Kog'Na just helps you get your graveyard lit up with your BA spells and traps. I mean, if you can get a Good and Evil into the graveyard turn 1 and you have a BA to pitch for it, like, I don't know, like obviously your main 6, or Farfa, or even Libic, you know, it's good. I mean, especially considering how, you know, you have the 2 copies of Libic, especially considering if you do pitch the Libic for Good and Evil, you will search, and then Libic will trigger in the next chain, and then you will be able to, you know, summon the monster you just searched off of Good and Evil, if you searched a monster. So yeah, that's kind of a nifty thing, yeah, but normally I prefer to search out Traveler or Fire Lake off of Good and Evil. It really just depends. And we have 2 copies of Farfa. Sometimes I see people playing 3. I don't necessarily like 3 Farfa. I've tried 3 Farfa. I see it way too much. And really, I mill Farfas way too much. I mean, normally you just want to extend the Farfas to the graveyard with things like Beatrice, or maybe even Rhino Warrior sometimes, but yeah, normally, yeah, or pitch it with Virgil. I mean, normally you want to control when you see your Farfas. So yeah, there's that. So that's why I prefer 2, just because I don't see them too often. And for the 1 of BAs, we got the 1 of Rubik. Thank God he's being reprinted, so yeah. Especially considering how Infinite Gold makes this deck almost entirely budget now. I mean, Dante's getting reprinted, Rubik's being reprinted, Traveler's being reprinted, you know, stuff like that. Rubik sucks, but he's needed. I mean, he doesn't contribute to the deck strategy outside of making Virgil, and that's it, but you still need to play him just because Virgil is that man. He is that much of a beast. And for, you know, last BA, we got Barbar. In Barbar, we trust. You know, burn for game. And for the non-BA monsters, we got the triple Rhino Warrior. In my opinion, the best card to go into with Tour Guide, just because it pretty much turns into any BA you want. Basically, you can get your mills from Dante, and then whatever you don't hit that you want to hit with Dante mills, you can just send with Rhino Warrior. So, like, say you hit, you go for Tour Guide, and then you go for your Rhino Warrior, overlay for your Dante. You detach the Rhino Warrior, and say, like, you mill the Graf. You can use Rhino Warrior's effect to send, I don't know, like a Skarm to the graveyard, and then you can use Graf to get Seer from deck, or you can use, yeah, pretty much, yeah, you use your Graf to get Seer from deck, and then you just send Skarm to graveyard with Rhino Warrior, and then you can just keep searching out cards, probably search out a Libic or something, or another Seer. Yeah, and of course, yeah, obviously I have the 1 of Tour Guide, which is, you know, the best recruiter in the deck, getting all your good fiends from deck. And for the spells, only 2. I mean, Foolish Burial and Good and Evil. I mean, Foolish Burial is the only good spell in the deck. Good and Evil is good, it's just as long as you don't draw it. And even if you do draw it, you could just, you know, make Break Sword and then just pop it, but there is that. So yeah, pretty basic spell lineup. And for the traps, you know, pretty much like the most extensive part of the BA deck. We got the triple anti-spell fragrance for pendulums. It's also good against monarchs. I mean, BA aren't hurt by this card at all. I mean, except for maybe the times where you're sighting, but yeah. Normally I don't see anti-spell fragrance all that much just because I milled them off with Dante, but it is what it is. And then next up we got the triple Horn of Heaven. I mean, because the Horn of Heaven is a thing, you don't need to run as many Solemns, but yeah, and especially considering how Horn of Heaven just has much better synergy with Burning Abyss than stuff like Strikes. So yeah, I'd say run Horns of Heaven over Strikes personally, but if you have room for both and you own copies of both, then just max out on them as much as you can. So yeah, but this card's awesome. I mean, obviously, it's not great against every matchup. I mean, like, any deck that plays Masked Heroes is just going to completely play around this card completely. It's unfortunate, but, oh well. It only stops inherent summons anyway, or normal summons. The fact that it stops normal summons and flip summons is just godlike. But yeah. And next up, we got Triple Mistake. Something that I'm not really seeing in BA a lot, considering how, you know, this and this are the only cards that search. I mean, some people used to play Painful Escape, but now that Rhino Warrior is a thing, you know, Painful Escape's just not that great, but yeah, I'd say Mistake is just very good this format because obviously Monarchs are a thing, Mermail, yeah, it's just good. I mean, every meta deck in this format searches, and some search more than others, don't get me wrong, but this card is too good not to run in my opinion, especially in a deck that's not hindered by it at all. And for the final 3-ups trap, we have the Triple Traveler. Pretty much the reason why you don't need Soul Charge in this deck. I mean, I do see people playing Soul Charge. I don't necessarily like it personally, but that's player preference, really. I think this card's phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, you can get back like double Dante and like a Seer or something off of this thing, and it's just stupid. Yeah, and we got the 2 Fire Lake because it's the best trap in the deck. I'm just being completely honest. And we got 2 Solemn Strike, 1 Booby Trap E. This is a personal tech choice because, you know, we kind of do run Triple Anti-Spell, Triple Mistake, with the Vanities and the Skill Drain, so we have 8 targets right there for Booby Trap E. Not to mention, you know, it's a discard trap, so it helps us, you know, get our Rhino Warriors out of hand, our Skarms, any of the big 6, like any of these BAs that out of hand, just so we can trigger them, and this card helps accomplish that. And, of course, we do have the Vanities and the Skill Drain, probably the best floodgates in the deck. Skill Drain just shuts down the meta, minus, you know, like a Burning Abyss mirror match, and maybe Cosmo. I mean, Skill Drain's just bad against Cosmo for the most part, but yeah. And, of course, for the last one, we have the Solemn Warning. On for the extra deck, we do, of course, have the 1 Pilgrim, because we are playing, you know, the Triple Beatrice. Yeah, this is a Beatrice build. Okay, so we do, in fact, have the 1 Pilgrim. We have the Virgil for Rubik. Virgil, main man of the deck, so good. We have the Triple Beatrice, just absolutely phenomenal and incredible card. Words cannot do justice as to how good this is. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I never have the occasion to make 3, but if you can make, like, double Beatrice, I don't know how the hell you lose. It doesn't matter what matchup it is. It's just, like, you're floating so hard. And we do have the 1 Downer, just because you still kind of need to play Downer for the instances you can't make, Beatrice. I mean, it's still good just to have it around, just in case. So yeah, and another Ixie, next one, we still are running Acid Golem. I'm seeing a lot of people dropping Acid Golem for some reason, and I think that's kind of stupid. I mean, you really, don't get me wrong, Acid Golem is a bad card, but the OTK potential it allows is just too good, really. I mean, like, double Dante and Acid Golem is very easy to pull off turn 2 in Burning Abyss, so I don't see why you would want to give up that OTK for something else. I mean, and then next up, the 1 Nightmare Shark for game. We have the Phantom Knights of Breaksword, easily like the second best Ixie in this deck beside Dante. I mean, it just lets you do so much. You can pop your own Dantes with this. You can trigger your own BAs. I mean, you can trigger your Dantes. I mean, you can't trigger your BAs unless it's like someone from Libic or something. But yeah, you can trigger your monsters. You can pop your dead back row. Like if you draw Good and Evil, like I mentioned earlier, you could pop it with Breaksword. And we have the we pretty much just have, you know, the better version of Ghost Trick Alucard, Grand Pulse. I mean, Alucard does kind of have its own advantages, like being able to pop set monsters, but the fact that this could pop, you know, any floodgate is just good. And we have the 1 copy of Zen Means. He's just in there just for filler. I mean, there are times where you do kind of need to stall, but realistically, I think that Dante stall is better than Zen Means stall. But yeah, there are times where, actually, I'm pretty sure you can go between this and Fortune Tune sometimes. I feel like Fortune Tune could be better just because it can't be targeted and because it lets you put your, it lets you put 2 level 3 monsters back into your deck. So, like, I don't know, like, you put, like, back a Graph or a Seer, or you can put back Tour Guide or something. So, yeah, you can put back, you can recycle a lot of cards with, Fortune Tune, but, I don't know. Zen Means is just better, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, in Burning Abyss Mirror Match, Zen Means is absolute shit because it'll just get Farfud, but, yeah. But that's just how it is, though. And of course, we got the obligatory Triple Dante, the best card, well, the most utility card in the deck. I mean, if Dante didn't exist, Burning Abyss would not be a deck. I'm just being completely honest. Yeah, and considering how a lot of other decks are starting to play Dante now, there's a chance that it might get looked at for the next list. I hope not, because I really want to play Burning Abyss. I mean, hopefully the list just stays something similar to this. I mean, I don't think that Konami would nerf BA even harder when Beatrice is just around the corner, but that's just me. And for the Elastic C, we have the 1F0. Just because, you know, Cosmo is a really bad matchup, but this card makes it such an easy matchup, though, because you can make it super easily with double Dante. I mean, this deck has no way to out Dark Destroyer. I mean, like, Acid Golem technically can, but you have to point-for-point Acid Golem. I guess that kind of works considering how you're getting rid of your Acid Golem. But, you know, the Dark Destroyer will just replace itself with a Forerunner anyway. So, I mean, this card's just infinitely better at answering the ships. So, yeah. To the side deck, we were running 2 Sea Turtle for the occasions you run into heroes. I mean, turn 1 Dark Claw is a bit of a problem for this deck, but considering how, you know, especially considering how we're not running a lot of traps to actually answer Dark Claw in this build, I mean, you definitely need to. I mean, the only cards that really answer Dark Claw are the Strikes, the Skill Drain, and Skill Drain. That's it. I mean, those are the only traps that answer it. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, all these other cards don't progress your game state versus the turn 1 Dark Claw. And of course, we have the 2 Max C for a mirror match, or just in general, for any deck that likes to special summon a lot. We got the 2 Valor for Monarchs and Draco Pals and stuff. We got the 3 copies of System Down for the Cosmo matchup specifically, just because getting over the ships and getting their ships out of their graveyard is incredibly crucial to that matchup. Just because Tin Can is kind of that deck's main engine now. 3 Twin Twisters. I go in between of maining and sighting these, just because, you know, it is a really big discard fodder for the deck. It's your main discard outlet. I mean, it helps you discard your BAs. It pops back row. It's just really good. This entire deck is like discard fodder of the deck. So yeah, you can get free Twin Twisters off a lot. And you know, for the last card, we're playing Triple Massacre Strip for Monarchs. Actually, Monarchs aren't a very bad matchup for this deck. Especially considering how, you know, you don't really need to get to your extra deck unless if you open Fire Lake, because, you know, you can just special summon 2 BAs, set Fire Lake, and pass. And, you know, the second they commit anything to the field, like Domain or March or anything like that, you can just Fire Lake it and then you win. Yeah, I'm feeling really good about this deck going into next format. I really, really hope that this deck stays like this. Hopefully they don't make any more hits to it. I mean, considering how Phantom Knights are playing multiple Dantes now, and Beatrice is just going to be that card, you know, that beast of a card. I mean, one thing I thought was interesting, that you can actually overlay Beatrice on top of Pilgrim, because it's any Dante card, not like Dante Traveler. Not the Traveler Dante, but you can even put it over Pilgrim. And not to mention that Beatrice can get Virgil as well. It's just stupid as well, because Virgil is just a phenomenal card, but yeah. Hopefully this deck does. Hopefully I can build this at next regionals. I really, really want to build Burning Abyss just because I really love this deck. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. This is something a little bit different. Normally I don't do meta decks, but this is kind of like my favorite, you know, like tier 1.5-ish deck. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.